The games are usually what takes center stage at any gaming convention, but at License to Play 2009, the people behind the games were also as pivotal to the show. The bonus stage looks at two personalities from the show. The first of our interesting profiles is the voice that brings live competitive gaming to new heights of entertainment.
Okay, I'm here with Phil. He's the sports e-caster, am I right?
Yeah, esports commentator, that's right.
E-sports commentator. So how did you embark on this sort of odd kind of career choice?
Well, I started out with, of course, as a young kid, I'd like to commentate on, soccer matches and stuff. I'd mute off the matches, and excuse me for my voice, just finished an epic match that, the Sudden Attack Finals.
At the arena, in front of the main stage, I cannot understate, I cannot overstate.
So I started out with that, and I had a bit of a passion, and that got lost when I got into sports in rugby and whatnot. And over time, it just grew, and it got lost for a while. But as I came back into computer gaming and esports gaming, I'm also a cyber athlete, so I started to get interest in that, and I finally met up with some guys called GameStar. They came down for a competition held by Sling HD, the first ever Call of Duty competition ever, and that was for $10,000, so it was a big event. I went for that, and they came down and they provided commentary. Through that, I met up with them, and they were nice guys. GameStar's based in Australia.
Okay, so you're competing but not commentating?
No, I wasn't commentating at the time. I was competing. I was a cyber athlete. And finally at WCG 09, they came up to me, and I decided to join on and start out as a trialee.
Well, you first started commentating, or when you were playing matches as a professional sort of gamer, did you find like people who commentated your matches, like do you think that you could do a better job than them?
Definitely, it's quite hard for me to say that, but definitely, I mean, commentary has grown so much in the past years, as so as the games industry and the esports industry, and commentary is actually quite new in Asia. So it was quite rare in Asia, and I'd always like to commentate this and that matches, but my friends would laugh at me. So I think I have the last laugh right now.
Okay, so how do you make a match interesting to the general public as well as to the gamers?
How you make it interesting is you try not to focus on what's actually going on. You try and get as much info about the game before the event, and so what you do is with all that info you start to create your hype and all that. So you start hyping up the audience, and then after that what you start to do is with your info that you've studied on and before the event, you start to put that in, and as fillers and whatnot, and it makes it more exciting because the gamers know what you know, and you also try to relate to the audience as well in basic terms what the game is about, and what you need to do in the game and what makes it so interesting. And so the public gets engaged, and when the public gets engaged, of course they start cheering, and they start getting excited about the game, and so the gamers and the public start to meld, and start getting excited, and that's where the magic really starts to happen.
Okay, so you're Sec 2 now. Do you see yourself shoutcasting in the future as a full-time job?
Definitely, but whether it will be my main job, I've not decided. But of course, I mean, the skills that I've learned from GameStar, shout out to the GameStar guys, but the things I've learned from them are extremely valuable, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. And so far I've done, I think, 2 or 3 live events so far, in addition to the online events, and it's just been so rewarding and so fulfilling, and it's one of my passions, and I don't think I'm going to give it up anytime soon.
Okay, any tips to people who want to start shoutcasting?
Be confident. Have confidence in your abilities. Meet the right people. Don't get duped here and there. And esports commentary may not be that big right now, but I can see that the potential it has to because it just absolutely changes the game and hypes up the game so much to such a euphoric level for bystanders and commentators. Find the right company, find the right people, and make sure you have really good mentors.
One more round. Let's call thumbs up from the supporters. One more round to make this is like an overtime round.
Our second interesting profile of gaming is responsible for the eye candy that graced the convention halls. Let's meet the boys behind Movie Mania. Alright, so I'm still here at L2P, and I'm here with Timothy and Edwin. Timothy and Edwin, you're part of Movie Mania. What do you guys do at Movie Mania?
Actually, we sort of build costumes, and we rent it out as well. Most of us are basically a group of fans who are big movie buffs, so we actually wear costumes to celebrate the movies.
I've seen you guys at a couple of gaming conventions already. Explain to the camera why gaming conventions though.
Well, some of the characters that we actually like to costume as happen to be gaming characters as well. In this case, Army of Two. So whenever there's a gaming convention, we'll appear as the gaming characters and just be seen.
Okay. So who actually makes these stuff? You guys, or you import it in? How does it work?
Well, it varies depending. More often than not, usually we'll build our own costumes using raw materials that we can find in Singapore.
What is this gun made out of?
This gun is made of industrial resin. Basically, it's a silicone mold where you pour resin into it, and you cast it out, and that's what you get.
I'm sure everyone is wondering whether this is legal in Singapore.
Yes, it is. We've talked to the A&E police and all, and they say as long as it doesn't fire, it's solid, it's fine.
So I could take this around town and walk around with this.
You could, but I wouldn't recommend it.
Okay, yeah.
Well, like in most gaming conventions, right, you know, like there are a lot of police characters or military stuff. So what we have here are like pouch fillers. What you do is basically when they have a vest, tactical vest, instead of putting newspapers or a little sponge and stuff like that, they can actually use stuff like this with resin.
Okay.
And it looks like the real thing, but it's solid. Little grenades,
Yeah.
magazine clips, shotgun shells,
Yep.
and my personal favorite, grenades. It's cool, won't explode though.
What do you guys cater to? Who do you guys cater to?
Okay, well, we're working with a group called FPS, who's basically a homegrown filming production company. They do a lot of action movies. So what we do, we provide stunt props for the SWAT guys to throw around, get shot and stuff like that.
Going back a little bit to the process of making these things, how long does, say, a mask take or a gun make?
Okay, depends. If it's a freshly built mask, let's say it's a freshly built mask, we have to sculpt it first. It takes about a day or so.
Yep.
Then we gotta plaster mold it, then silicone mold the master, and then cast it out to material like resin or fiberglass. That'll take about maybe 4 or 5 days.
Okay, Timothy, maybe you can give me like an example of the price range of costumes I want to buy or rent.
Well, if you want to rent a costume, depending on what kind of material it is, if it's a cloth costume, say something like what you see in X-Men or the Fantastic Four, it's a lot cheaper, maybe about $80 thereabouts for a day or so. If it's something a little bit harder and more durable, like maybe a Predator suit, it'll cost a little bit more, maybe $150.
Okay.
It'll just mark up according to what sort of costume it is and how big it is.
Besides military replicas, what kind of costumes do you guys make?
As long as it's a big US Hollywood blockbuster movie and we have personal favorites of it, we'll do it. If we can't do it, we'll make it. Stuff like from science fiction movies to action movies. Stuff like you look at Superman, superheroes, stuff like that, Fantastic Four, the X-Men movies, iconic characters like the Predator, Aliens, stuff like that.
How tough is it to rent all these spandex one people bend and sweat in them and then they give it back to you? Is that a prerequisite to wash them before you return them, or do you wash it yourself?
Well, we usually return it just without washing it, so we'll just get it dry clean. If it smells really bad, then we'll get it really industrially washed.
How much do these retail for?
Oh, these are cheap. These are like what?
How cheap is cheap?
This is $5, man.
$5.
That's right.
And a gun?
Okay, the gun costs a little bit more because of all the detailing that went into it. That's about $30, $35.
And how about those, you got the submachine guns, the AK?
Okay, these are actually legalized toys you can actually buy in Singapore. What we do is actually we modify it so it looks more realistic. And we add a little bit of weight to it. It's basically plastic, but if you feel it now, it's a lot heavier. So it gives a little bit of realism to the weight when you carry it around.
And how much would that set me back?
This one, basic setup, will be about $50 on top of the gun price. It works its way up, depending how good you want it to be.
Beautiful, so everything on this table here is for sale?
Everything except this and myself, unless the price is right.
Okay. Oh, I love it. Thanks a lot, man, Timothy.